Hi, hello. Hi, hello, and today I am translating live, and this video topic is going to be about Dudoir. And Dudoir is a man's photography, okay? So when men would like to take a boudoir photo shoot, okay, you would call it Dudoir photography. And I will discuss why men are worried about taking boudoir photography, right? What men think when they create sensual and erotic photo shoots, okay? And what usual questions there are, okay? Usual questions there are. So, talking about traditional men, right? Traditional men, normal men, it's not, it's a girly thing to take photo shoots, okay? Like, seriously, when the men would think this is sensual stuff and men are masculine, right? Creatures, they would think that this is not for them, okay? So, men, when they, before, when men were thinking about photography, boudoir photography, right? There was certain types of men, and I would call this insta boys, okay? The men who now work on their appearance, work on their masculine side, work on their physical side, and they look at themselves in the mirror sometimes more often than women, okay? These men absolutely enjoy taking pictures, okay? And this type of men, they they're easy to work with. I love working and taking pictures, sensual, intimate photo shoots with men, because it's much easier and straightforward, right? But when we speak about that current men, nowadays men, they are shiny like ladies, okay? They want to show off. They want to represent themselves, they want to see themselves in a full beauty, right? There are different men. But the olden days men, right, they really worry about this sensual stuff, okay? And they really, concerned when it comes to, exposing themselves, undressing themselves, performing, right? When it comes to the size situation, right? When they will get undressed, how they will, how they will feel. Do they have an erection? Do they not? What they should do? There are a lot of questions when it comes to creating photography for men. Okay, and I've started this topic with discussing two types of men. Okay, there is a third type of man, which is gay, right? Which is gay. I could include this in this conversation today. But like I say, gay people, they are more inclined to explore their feminine side, okay, but deeply feminine side, right? And it's a different conversation there. When I shoot gay men, it's more like it's more like a feminine energy in there. So it's like a woman to woman situation, and they would want to feel this way. They would want you to be equal to them, okay, when it comes to gay men, okay? And they would want makeovers and touch-ups and that kind of stuff. But when we speak about classic masculine and standard men, they don't want any makeup. Seriously, they don't understand this, okay? Unless they are actors and unless they are performers, then they realize that, if they put little bit of makeup or something, then in general, in post-production process, it will be reflected, right? But like I say, when it comes to taking nude photography, boudoir photography for men, it's slightly different, okay? It's not, olden days, it wasn't even that much popular, okay? And men would do it for a challenge, okay? Seriously. That would be for them like something what is very complicated and very hard to do. It's like climb to Everest. That kind of a challenge they would set for themselves. And when I spoke with men, for example, 20 years ago, right, they would say, this is something what I would want to do once in my life and tick it, tick it as a bucket list, Nowadays, men, they want fluff, Okay, now seriously, they want to show off, right? They don't preserve themselves in the way that, oh, this is too feminine, this is too sensual, I would feel awkward, I would look silly, it's stupid, and so on, right? You understand what I'm saying? So there is a confrontation in there for me personally. When I create photo shoot with men, it's always interesting. Okay, it's always interesting because you see, I always want to know which one is the type. Okay, so one type is which is a social stigma and some kind of a norm situation, and for men this is not a norm to show off, right? To show their body, to represent themselves. This is a new practice. This is a new experience, right? So they feel. How to say, they feel it's hard to be emotional, right? Because they have to be tough, right? The tough. And this is like, more about the appearance as well, right? How they look. The majority of men don't care, seriously. And it happened to me many times when they would prepare for a photo shoot. What the stuff they would bring is not sexy, okay? It's just not for a photo shoot even. Okay, so that is why I had a collection for men. Okay, leather jackets, jeans, cool jeans, like belts, cool, like hats, cool, right? So like shirts, a must, right? So they would come like very casual, like too casual, like so much casual that, how to say, I want to make something special in my studio, always, right? Always. And the first, we start from a dressed portrait, right? So that they would not be so much scared. And then I undress them slowly, because you see, Dudoir photo shoot, right? It still involves some sexual, sensual, intimate moments, right? And at my studio, I don't shoot only boudoir portraits, right? We create photography to the point where the man is ready to go, right? We can create a portrait which is dressed, then semi-nude, right? Then nude photography, then explicit photography. Then we can create erotic fantasies and even cum shots. Can you imagine? So now photography moved, and expanded to the point, right, that the person who's coming to the photo shoot can experience everything, everything. But when I talk about the Dudoir photography, I am starting my conversation from the point that men are shy and feel awkward when it comes to their appearance most of the time, right? And so it is a problematic, you see, a silly situation. How is it to undress sexy in front of me? Not everyone can undress sexy. Not everyone can make a face. Very often with men, I would practice this kissing technique, because their face would be very stiff and just, it didn't look okay, it's nothing sexy. So when they kiss me, like, they look even more stupid, right? But this is kind of like a fun experience. It relaxes the jaw, relaxes the whole face, and I am able to reach different shots. Okay, so men, you see, when I'm saying, for me it's fun, really fun to shoot with men, they also worry a lot. Okay, when it comes to a photo shoot, okay, they worry about that, how they look, or they are too skinny, or they are too big, or they, how to say, something is wrong with them, right? There is always, or they bald, or they too short, or they, or they have a small size. There are different kind of worries when it comes to men. Okay, seriously. So, like I say, appearance is very, very important for men and for women when it comes to taking photography. Okay, they also care, and they also want very good and masculine and confident shots, right? So when we create confident shots, right, they have to be in their mature, masculine, sensual, sexual energy. You see, they have to, represent themselves, right? And most of the time we start from a, how to say, a shy and awkward point, okay, when they don't know. And the reason why they don't know, because you see, there is a fear of judgment. Okay, fear of judgment, that if they show too much, something will be too much. If they will do something, it will be not right. Okay, and then you see, men, how to say, men come from this, you know, maybe someone is joking on them, they don't want this, right? And you know, how to say, doing something they would not take and being seriously, right? And in general, they're overthinking. Okay, they're overthinking. They care how they look. Is it cringy? Is it awkward? Is it they look silly? They really care. Okay, so that's one of the things why men are stopped. Okay, before this experience. It's not about the experience. They fear, but they fear. You know what comes in their head. You see the way they feel, right? So going and talking more about what men feel during erotic photo shoot and how they expose themselves, we're going right down there, okay, to the body issues, because very often men already have situation with their erection, okay, and they know very well what situation they are in, okay, and there are confident men, okay, and there are less confident, okay. When it comes not to a big size, there are men who can compensate their confidence with their, how to say, maybe businesses, maybe wealth, maybe status, maybe, you know, how to say, position, whatever, right? But there are men who absolutely focus on their size, okay? And if it's not big, smaller than someone, then, you know, they feel less worthy, okay? And that's one of the things why they want to do a photo shoot, to change the way they feel, you know, to bring the value to their own appearance, to their own body, okay, and of course to bring the value to their feelings about themselves, because when they see a great looking picture, so what, he is not a big size, right? But this is like the body looks great, you know, size is middle, right? Seriously, very often I speak about the size with men during the photo shoot. Very often, you know, this is the topic. Most of the time, always touched, okay? They want to make sure, okay? They want to make sure that their size is okay, that this is all, you know, in harmony, that they look fine, okay? And especially young men, there are a lot of men who need reassurance on that topic, okay, when it comes to their sizes. And very often I explain them, okay, that there are different women, okay, out there. There are women who seriously would like to try a huge size maybe once or twice a life. No? There are women who never would want to try a huge size, and there are women who are obsessed. They want just huge size, right? So there are you find your woman. It doesn't have to, you know, be everyone, right? And when it comes to stimulation, right, or to actually being with the woman intimately, right? When you go into this GPS mapping, right, there are a lot of points where you can find and touch and stimulate the woman. And most of the points are outside, okay? Seriously. And men needs to know this. They're the very close or outside, right? They don't have to put the whole thing in there, so to touch those points. And there are different ways how to do it, and they do not understand this thing, right? And that's why they feel less worthy about life, less worthy about themselves, and then they want less in life, not more, okay? And then you see they stay single, right? Because what they want is not achievable for them, and so on and so on. So the situation about their penis and the conversation about their tool during the photo shoot is 99% to happen with me, okay? Which I'm fine, you know? Some men just need to talk with someone about this, especially when we're shooting an erotic photo shoot and when they are undressing. They want to take a picture of their cock, and they want to be in that perfect situation when they've, you know, full on, full size, right? They want to prepare themselves. They seriously practicing, and they taking that part, you know, quite challenging, you know, to last. Everything is fine and this and that. Usually I'm bigger, usually I'm this. Can you use a Photoshop? Can you do this? Can you do this? Seriously, there are so many things when it comes, you know, to body issues. So women obsessed, you know, about maybe other parts, right? Other parts from front to bottom, face and whatever. Men obsessed about other parts, okay? And they, you know, and the woman and the men have body issues, what's stopping them from living a certain life, intimate life, and of course getting their sensual and sexual energy up, and of course using it up, right, towards the right direction. Okay, sexual energy is always a creative energy. Okay, and creative energy happens when something old dies, right? Most of the time. I mean, babies happens, right, from the sexual energy, right? But I'm talking about in your body. Yeah, always creative energy is when you rejuvenate yourself, revamp yourself, re-edit yourself, right? Change yourself. That's when you need a creative energy. You need a creative energy to create anything, to be fair. Okay, when you don't have it, then you're stuck, right? Stuck. So photoshoot for men is that point when they can confront themselves, reassure themselves, have a intimate conversation with the professional, right? Have a memory of themselves, have a certain experience that they would not have anywhere else. Okay, and of course we will create a range of photography. Okay, not every man are so brave, I can tell you. Not everyone would want to have a sexual situation. Some men just would want some yoga situation, right? They're undressing and they creating different poses of yoga with themselves, and that's how they express themselves, right? There are men who going to the gym. Okay, there are men who's trying to date, right? There are men who is maturing and aging and would like to memorize themselves, right? There are men who wants to create a special surprise for their wife, okay, for their lover, right? And make hot and sexy pictures, right? So there are many ways how you can use this photography, but the first way is, of course, it goes to developing yourself and your personality, because you attacking those points where you judging yourself, when you are worrying, when you are nervous about something, when you have certain blocks about, you know, the way you look or what is your size or whatever that is, right? And we, with erotica, with erotic photoshoot, trying to change that. You know, self-love, self-acceptance, right? These type of energies comes, and of course sexual vibes, right? Because sexual energy, you see, it does not define you in any way. You just have it or you just not. And people are attracted to sexual energy. Yeah, all the marketing is based on a sexual energy, right? The businesses, new projects are based on sexual energy, right? Communication, connection with your partner is based on this energy. If you do not have this energy between you, you will go on the side and will be looking for that sexual energy that drives you, right? That's what's happening, right? So I'm talking about photo shoots, and photo shoots for men, which are Dudoir style. Of course, it's a confident boost. Of course, it's a representation of your physical state, mental state, emotional state, right? It's a challenge. If you do it till the end, okay? If you're not even doing it till the end, it is anyway a challenge. First of all, you're undressing in front of the stranger, in front of the person. The second of all, you have to prepare somehow, put some outfits if you're wearing something, right? Usually people, when they come to photo shoot, they want to have standard studio shots. They do want, because everyone has a social media. They have a LinkedIn profile, they have an Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, whatever, right? They want to have dress pictures, and then they're undressing. And undressing photo shoot goes towards, of course, understanding who they are, how they are, what are the fears and insecurities. This is like this. Straight away comes the moment the person start moving, he would start feeling something that is too stiff, that he's not relaxed, okay, that he is nervous, that he is worrying, okay. Yeah, that's what happens. And you are, how to say, tipping into your imperfections straight away. Straight away. There are not many people in general who are so confident about themselves and about their body and how they look. I can tell you. Maybe they fake it. I've seen it. But like I say, they are professionals. They are professional actors. Okay? And then they represent in a different way in the studio. Okay? And men worry like women. Men worry like they are not going to the gym enough, okay, they're not muscular enough, right? And of course they worry about imperfections, what camera will show, right? And they worry about the performance. Okay, these are three main categories I could just give you straight away. Performance, it means erection and what they can do during that performance, okay? So sensual photo shoot scares men away, and it was quite a fright before, many years ago. Now I can tell you there are a lot of men who would like to do it to boost their confidence, to boost their sexuality. They want to expand their knowledge and understand, you know, because there will be a time when they will be undressing in front of the woman, right? And that performance could be presented and that experience could be led in a different way. Imagine you undressing so many times during the set, right? You're shooting a certain scene and you undressed so many times that you're just doing it, you know, like I am impressed. Okay, I am impressed, right? So that's why we're doing it, to practice this, right? Practice this. So representation of yourself, of your body, of your personality is the first thing what we would tap in during the photo shoot in boudoir style or even in the nude style. Okay, and the nude style is challenging because there is a very fine edge, you know, when it comes to nude art and when it comes to explicit photography. But explicit photography, if you book an explicit photography, it's going to be always, okay, always close up. Yeah, that's an explicit when someone is very close to you, right? And you are naked, okay? And explicit photography does involve you touching yourself. You know, not only like essential artistic shots, no. You're actually creating something what is explicit for many people, right? So for regular guys who are more, more conservative, okay, it's a huge challenge. But like I say, there are people out there who are working towards their looks all life. And when they're checking themselves in the mirror more often than women, for them it's easy to pose. For me, for example, shooting a fitness model or people in sport is very easy. Okay, they just stand in this and that's it. You know, the whole posture, the whole energy is straight away there. Okay, so with people who doing sport, or like I say, professional people who dancers or this is totally different situation. But I'm talking about people who are, men who rarely take pictures. Then they come and say, oh, it's gonna be so hard for you. It's so hard to make a good shot of me. I don't have any pictures, or it's going to be, I'm not photogenic. I'm not photogenic, and then you try to change his mind about this situation, right? Or especially when the men are plus size, okay? The plus size, they're kind of funny and they're kind of brave, okay? But when it comes to performance, they slightly, older guys also, older guys wanna catch that last train, That's why they're doing it. Okay, so there is not too many options to see online of different men. I think this is discouraging for a regular normal man, because they just see beautiful bodies, fitness models, you know, or any kind of other models, which are not normal, you know, situation, not normal people, right? And that is something what they worry about, because they don't look like models. Men worry because they don't look like models. That's why they would not go and not do the photo shoot. You know, you don't have to be a model to have a successful photo shoot. You know, especially when it comes to Dudoir, erotica, nude photography, explicit photography. You don't have to, you know, be a model. So yeah. So when we talk about going into boudoir photography, the first thing is, of course, to be honest. To be honest with your photography is first thing. The second thing, you need to relax. Okay, relax about things, you know, relax about your issues, about your imperfections. Just seriously relax and just look at your photographer. And the third thing, you need to trust. You need to trust your photographer that, you know, he or she is doing the right thing for you. Okay, so that's the thing, right? So maybe to lose that control and to give that handle to someone to decide is also an issue. Okay, so not only that vulnerability is hard, that you are sitting there and you are trying kind of, you know, kind of undress, you know, kind of do something, right? And be in that present moment. It's not easy, right? I understand this. And today I'm talking about photo shoots for men. Okay, photo shoots for men, and very soon I will be answering questions. So I'm taking questions and I'm discussing my topic about men photography, boudoir, nude photography, right, and explicit photo shoot. So what is intimidating? What to wear? Men would ask what to wear because they don't know. They don't know what to bring for a photo shoot, you know. But usually, you know, it's a white t-shirt and jeans. It's a shirt and some trousers. Okay, it's a underwear, it's must, you know. And I also have options of underwear because sometimes men forget. They forget that they need to undress during the photo shoot. Okay. And then they being awkward that they will be naked there. Okay. So underwear, right? Shoes. Shoes would be a good idea. Leather jacket. You can bring a hat. You can bring a tie. I have ties. Lots of ties I have in my studio. So what to wear? You know, that's the situation. What to wear? The first question. The second question is how everything would go and how do I pose? Okay, usually everything would go by my command, right? You are not going here in my studio and do a photo shoot. No, you're gonna be listening and will be doing what you told, right? So if we having a consultation now, you will sit down and listen. We will go around the studio and you will have some information. You will go around and listen, right? You have time to have questions. It's like, you know, it's like going and being a student somewhere. People think that, oh, I'm not going to do a photo shoot because I don't know. Of course you don't know. You've never been in the studio. You don't know what it takes to create great photography. So you will be listening, right? That's the first thing. The another thing is, of course it will be awkward. Of course people getting nervous. And men and women, when it comes to erotic photo shoot, they get nervous and they feel awkward. It's not a natural environment. Yeah? Not a natural environment because we came from that era where everything what involves sexual, intimate conversation or something was a taboo. It was a secret. It was not allowed. It was not okay. You're doing something wrong. Okay? Seriously. That's how we came. So the question, last question maybe I'll ask myself is it going to be a classy shoot? Okay? Or is it going to be a sexual, risky, explicit shoot? Okay? So there are two types of men. One type of man who would want just classy, and the other type of man who would want everything. And classy and risky. Okay? So that I would say. Anyway, when it comes to a photo shoot for men, it is much easier because they are more relaxed in general, like women. They're not obsessed, and you can take them out of their, you know, comfort zone, and you can put them back. You know, it's kind kind of, for me, straightforward. They easy following the guidance, and they easy following the steps, okay, that they've been told to do. Okay, so men are great to shoot. I am just saying it feels risky for them and scary for them and nerve-wracking for them when it comes to express themselves, right? To show how they look or to show how they feel, right? And this is something what is maybe challenging, but it comes to education, right? To development, to evolution, right? How do you know about yourself in other way if you not put yourself into this situation, and you would not get through this experience? There is no other way. Okay, so sometimes it's the best way to go and do it. Okay, I'm answering questions now. You can ask. I know that there are plenty men on live. So this is your topic, photography for men. Photography for men in my studio happens two ways. One is one-to-one shoot, and the other way is when they scared, or they bored, or they too much nervous, and they would like to hire a model. Okay, or in general they don't want to shoot by themselves and they are lonely and single men, and they would like to hire a hot and sexy model to have a couples photo shoot. That is their dream. Okay, that is their dream. So that is also possible. You can ask these questions, and I am saying hi, hello now to everyone who is online with me. Thank you for joining. And today I'm discussing Dudoir. Okay, Dudoir is a boudoir photo shoot for men, but my studio, you see, creates more than Dudoir. Okay, more. It means that men are allowed to have an erection, men are allowed to fully undress, perform, touch themselves, create certain fantasy situations, right? Fetish situations, okay? And of course, we can do an erection shots. That's the thing, okay? So, very quiet, no message. No message, it means I'll finish early. Thank you so much for watching. Anyway, saying hi to everyone. Okay, saying hi, hello. Okay. What is this? I am brick. You are brick. You look good. Thank you. Okay. We have one new message. Great. Okay, hi, hello. Hello, Julia. Hi, hello. I speak mango and tukara. What is this? You see, English, please. You know, of course. Are you talking with yourself here? Okay. We all need more creative energy. Creative energy, that's true. That is so true. Because you stopped living when you stop feeling creative. Okay, creative energy, it's a development energy. It's the state when you're learning, when you're experiencing things, right? Creative energy is present in children. Children intuitively know how to move in life. Okay, although they are under protection of parents, but children intuitively know, okay, what they want to create, who they want to be fair. Only then adults get involved and bring their, negative or undeveloped coding, I would say, right, and change children's life. Okay, it's been a science that there are a lot of geniuses went to school, and then after a few years they just been broken. Okay, these children been broken. So yeah, so adults also need to practice creativity, and they have a very special game to play, which is a love game. Okay, children, they have other games to play, okay, because they're learning everything, right? Adults already come to the place, to the stage when they learn lots of things, right? And they certainly think that they learn a love game, right? And if that would be true, okay, then there will be no single people. There will be no separated, right? There will be no unhappy marriages. If that will be true, if they are so great, okay, at their sexual energy, right? And they are so great at being creative. And there will be no cheating, right? There will be no corn channels. Can you imagine you would have corn at home? You know, your spouse would be so excited to wait, cannot wait to come back. You know, so she will have a corn at home. Imagine this situation. But no, we came from the society where this was not allowed. You shouldn't talk about this. You shouldn't, do anything like that. Everywhere was closed, suspended, blocked. It's like protecting children. Okay, protecting children. But on the other hand, we have a very big industry, right? A huge industry. And a lot of young women would want to be an escort. There is a big, how to say, opportunities now. People just go online and make money. They don't need to be doctors and lawyers anymore. There is a new professions going on, and men really would want to go, but and you see, when men would want to go to corn, there is a very big chance that they not only want to be famous or prove something, right? They seriously lack of intimacy and sexual energy, so they can't attract. So they think that they would go into that field, they would just get to shag maybe, how to say, all the prettiest ladies in there, all the pretty lady, yeah, these songs. So men photo shoots are also involved adult work. Okay, there are a lot of men who would want to break into corn industry, and they keep contacting me. Okay, and they keep looking someone to help them, to push them. No, most of the time, what men are, I can tell you, they need the managers. Okay, they wanna drop on you, on your head, on your shoulders. Not only that you provide them a service, okay, not only that you create photography and videos for them, they want you to invest in them and make them a corn star, okay? And I said to everyone, darlings, you need managers for this, or you need to be your own manager, okay? Studio or photographers, they don't do that. This is not their job, okay? There are studios who would tell you, and those studios work most of the time in a fashion or somewhere, right? Who can provide you with a certain work, right? But when you going for corn and you are independent, this is all on you, okay? All on you. And there are so many men who just don't look good. I'm sorry. And in the reality is this, that you see, corn in general prove that anyone can find their own gig, anyone can find their own niche, anyone can find their own fantasy, and they just can find that, how to say, topic, and develop it and nail it and sell it and get money on this. Yes or no? Yes. But I hire models, and my clients, who are wealthy people, don't want just a random person. Seriously, anyone, okay? They want a very hot guy, right? If they're hiring men. So he who should be tall, he should be physically developed, muscular, he should be intellectual, intelligent, he should be sexually active and just macho towards his woman, right? He should be like, there are a big requirements there, okay? Not just to have a willy attached to yourself, right? So that's the thing about, adult business. You then need to sacrifice and go somewhere, or you need to do it yourself. Okay, that's another thing. Okay, men photo shoots are private experience. Okay, and you can do it for yourself, for your self-development, right? And that's a booking fee, and then depending on how long it will take and how big is the project and what we will do, you will pay the remaining balance. And another type of the photo shoot, when men would want to go into corn business, escort, right? At least they should go to escort and try a little bit, because there are a lot of delusional men. They think that they will just straight away will be matched up with the hot and sexy model. Not necessarily. What if you will just be serving an old lady? And if that's your fetish, then it's great, okay? What if you will be all month serving a lot of old ladies? Different things, different likings, right? But there are models who really care, okay, who they servicing, right? I have models who are asking me who is the client and how the client looks, okay? And if she is looking great, then the age doesn't matter, okay? But there are different clients there. Not everyone is looking great, okay? So men also have this preference to have a photo shoot. They also want to have a photo shoot with the hot and sexy female, excuse me, okay? So that's the thing. Okay, I'm answering last questions here. Last questions, and today's topic was about Dudoir. Dudoir is a man photography. Will you help me increase my sexual energy? That's a very direct question to me. Okay, do you think that your sexual energy depends on me? Because if you think that your sexual energy depends on me, then you need my help, right? But you see, you have a machine, okay? A big pharmacy inside of you, okay? There are a lot of hormones produced, a lot of new cells going on. Every new cell already maintains an energy, right? There are a lot of cells who dying today and a lot of cells who coming into life. And when the cell is coming into life, it's carrying the energy, regardless of what I do, okay? Yes, it will impact the way you feel, okay, about yourself. Of course it will impact. If you constantly feel that you are not worthy, that you are shy about something, that you feel awkward about things, that you are embarrassed constantly, that you are holding back, that you are, not motivated and so on, there is clearly, or you stuck, there is clearly a lack of energy. That's for sure. You can indicate yourself very easily. Are you doing anything new? Are you doing anything new? What creative have you done last in the past, So I can talk about this and you can recognize yourself, okay? Because low sexual energy indicates this way. You do not have a great relationship, okay? That's a low sexual energy indication. There is certain situation with your health, okay? You just don't want, okay? Or you worry down there, or you do not performing, or you are too small or something. There is a certain situation. If you do not want intimacy, or you do not have fantasies, or you are not active, male, who is just gonna you very straight back, there is something wrong with you. The body thinks this way, so it's not activating your hormones, right? And then lastly, how is your financial situation? Check. If the financial situation makes you happy, then you have a very high sexual energy. These things. Relationship, right? Intimacy, your health, right? This is the indicators, right? People are looking maybe for some kind of a courses or learn something else and so on, but this is just from their energy. Okay, everything happens from your energy. When you change the way you feel, you change your life, right? So can I increase your sexual energy? Like I say, there is a responsibility on the participant part, and you are a participant here, okay, who would want to participate. And if you have too much of the blocks, you need, first of all, like I say, to create sexual energy in the studio is very rarely happens in the first 5 minutes, unless you're professional and you can disconnect. Straight away, when you will come to the studio, I can tell you how you will feel. You will feel awkward, you will feel nervous, you will feel strange, you will feel stiff, you will feel frozen. There will be a lot of shit coming out of you, okay? And that's not a sexual energy. That's how people in the reality, this is their state, and that's how they are. And that's how they programmed and designed. And this program runs with you. You load with the same amount of program every day. The same. That's why your day is same. Every day is the same. So you load with the same, list of programs. You need to boost yourself, re-edit, reconnect with yourself, right? How to do it? This is the question. This is the question. Okay. So the question, can you help me? You know, I can point you to the right direction. It's like you can go to a fitness coach and say, can you do my muscles tight? But in reality, you have to do your muscles. He doesn't do anything for you. He's not gonna jump into your skin, into your suit, wearing your body and pump the muscles, right? This coach will do nothing. You need to understand what you're doing for yourself. Yeah, you can see it, you can follow it, you can be closer to that person, so yet you can visually understand what is going on and how, and then follow his way and become looking like him, right? But none of the coach in the gym jump into your body. I didn't see this in my life. Okay, very quickly, I have few minutes now left for a live. Thank you so much for staying. I don't know, the messages just disappeared. I just seen 13 messages and it was updated. So I think I'm lucky today. I'm not answering too much of the questions. You support Israel. I support love. You know? I support love. And I support adults who lack of sexual energy. Okay? Because from there starts everything. The life starts from there, relationship starts from there, and of course your wealth starts from there, right? That's what I support. That's what I'm talking about, yeah? Wow, do you do your nails? That's a very important question. Okay, is desperate and fantastic. Okay. Is desperate and is fantasizing about me and you. Your mind can fantasize about anyone, okay? Men created corn so that you don't have to feel anyone. No one is touching you and you're already fantasizing that you just had a great intimacy, okay? Right? So you can fantasize as much as you want, right? The reality will not change, you know? In the fantasy life, you will live. But in the reality, is this someone next to you? Someone can challenge you? No, right? So that's the situation. Okay, thank you so much for staying. Love you, kiss you, mean it. I need to go. I've enjoyed. Okay, 2 messages. Let me just quickly check what are these 2 messages. I don't see them, unfortunately. I'm going to the very bottom and I don't see. Okay, I'm so sorry. It's just something with my TikTok. I don't know. I can see messages coming, but I don't see them. Anyway, apologies for not